This is a platform wherein we thought to showcase our strength. We spoke about cotton. When we talk about cotton, there are two things. When we talk about any commodity, there are two things. One is the underlying, the other is the rupee dollar. So when you import or export, you are exposed to a price volatility on the rupee dollar as well. And BSE is India's leading exchange to trade the USD INR contract. So when you import or export, you are exposed to price volatility on the rupee dollar as well. In fact, again in the currency derivatives, BSE was the late entrant. The entire currency derivative started in 2008. I was part of the M6SX team to set up, and I was heading that part on that piece on the currency derivatives, and we started in 2008. I moved on to BSE in 2014. In 14 we launched the BSE currency futures. From 2,599 crores per day, the size today on the currency futures itself is increased to an average of 30,185 crores per day. And these volumes are higher than any commodity exchange put together in India. So this is what the power of the rupee dollar contract is. We have hedgers, we have corporates, we have the all kinds of participants participating on this exchange, on this platform, and this shows the strength, the confidence of the traders, the member brokers by participating on the rupee dollar contract. Even after being late by 5 years, we have managed a leadership position. Today we are almost 50 to 55% market share in the USD INR contracts, with all exchanges being launched this contract. So you have two legs to it. One is the cotton, the other is the rupee dollar. So this is a simple calculation. Whether you are an importer or an exporter, you have both legs. We have both tools. We have the liquid futures contract on the exchange as well as the options contract. So if you are an exporter, what do? You'll sell USD, you'll sell the rupee dollar, and you'll buy put options on or you'll buy a put option, either of it. If it's future, you'll sell, and if you are on options, you'll buy a put. If you're an importer, you'll buy USD or you'll buy a call option. So they have put, call and put. We'll be more than happy to make you understand, and we'll have a session on this, especially for the Cotton Association of India, on the currency derivatives, wherein we'll have experts from the field, make you understand all various strategies, how the hedging happens on the USD INR front, everything. So we'll be more than happy to do that as well. And same happens on the euro, yen, pound, and yen, euro. Now these are the functionalities that you can do. There's a platform of currency, there's a platform of commodities. Commodities, you have an underlying, you come and hedge. If you're an importer, you buy. If you're an exporter, you sell. What do you gain out of it? The transaction charges on BSE currency derivatives today is 22 rupees per crore. Why? Vis-a-vis the transaction charges on the other exchange, that is the NSE, which is the other liquid exchange, is 90 rupees per crore. Now I can give you an example. We have seen, I've been in this market for almost now 20 years. I used to personally trade a lot of commodities I was with the Cargill Investor Services, Chicago, and I used to trade many commodities, currencies, indices globally. What happens when competition comes is a good example on the currency derivatives contract. We launched it in 2013. Now it is 27th November 2018, and the markets were on since October 2008, for almost after 5 years, when the market was very ripe, very liquid. There was a daily volume of 50,000 crores or so. BSE was a late entrant, very difficult, and by going with all logics and laws, it was very simple. Market said there is already a robust market, liquid market. For any other exchange to come and establish itself and to get liquidity is a very Herculean and difficult task. It has not happened anywhere in the world. But nevertheless, we started with a fresh note. What we did is, we understood that people come here basically for hedging. The charges there on the other exchanges was 110 rupees per crore. We started with 2 rupees per crore. Over a period of 5 years, what we witnessed is We increase our charges on a regular basis, on a yearly basis from 2 rupees, 4 rupees, 6 rupees, 8 rupees, that is per year. Today we are 22 rupees per crore. But what has happened to the competition? Competition was 110 rupees per crore. In 5 years today, it has come down from 90, and if there are slabs, so if you go to the highest slab, you come down to even 30 rupees per crore. So this is what happens when you have competition. Not only you save a price on the most competitive exchange, but you force the other exchanges also to drop their prices, which does not happen in a very monopolistic market. Today also cotton, we have just a new entrance. We have not charged anything. You can see in the near future, you'll see a drop in prices on other exchanges as well. This is the power of competition. And this is what you save. Today, if you, this is 10,000 lots of rupee dollar contract, and the net saving that you do per annum, only on your hedging, is if you do the same contracts on the BSE, on the other exchange, net saving is around 26 lakh rupees. There's a huge kind of saving that BSE provides for you, an opportunity for you to come, participate, trade the same product with a better technology, confidence, and at the end of the day, save a lot. Saving is earning. This is what I understand. This is a great opportunity, and I think for all the end users, to participants, to hedgers, to come forward, participate on the BSE, make the most of it. We are here since 143 years. We started the currency derivatives. Now we are market leaders here. We started cotton just 13 days back, and we see a huge response. We are, I mean, it's just a one day, but yes, we have gained there. At least there's a start, there's a beginning, and we think we will live up to it, and we'll leave it in the future as well. By saying this, I end my presentation over here. But before I sign off, I would once again thank Cotton Association of India for their robust support and showing trust and confidence in the new exchange. To start, we are here for 143 years, but a new exchange to start commodities. And with this, I thank them again, and thank you all for being a patient audience. Again, good morning, everybody.
Thank you, sir. I have with me Atul Ganatra, President, Cotton Association of India, who would be presenting Sir with the Suvin Ratna. Yeah. Thank you. Now moving forward, may I invite Cliff White, immediate past chairman, Australian Cotton Shippers Association, and director, Omni Cotton Australia, to kindly come on stage and share his views with us.
This one or this one? This one. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure it is to be here today with so many cotton friends in one of the world's major cotton markets to discuss the challenges and opportunities in cotton. The theme of this conference is no doubt extremely topical at the moment. Indeed, not just for the global cotton industry, but the world in general. Global opportunities and challenges abound no matter where we look today. We are in interesting times, and it reminds me of a speech that Robert Kennedy gave in 1966, in which he quoted, "There is a Chinese curse which says, 'May he live in interesting times.' Like it or not, we live in interesting times. They are times of danger and uncertainty, but they are also the most creative of any time in the history of mankind. He made that speech more than 50 years ago, and it's still applicable today, particularly as it references China by an American. Before I get into my presentation, I wish to make a few comments on who I am representing here today. The Australian Cotton Shippers Association, or its acronym ACSA, was formed in the late 1980s and is made up of 14 of the 17 or so merchants currently actively trading Australian cotton. Plenty of names that I'm sure you're familiar with. ACSA's primary role is to promote and enhance the export of Australian cotton, and we do that in a number of ways. But our most effective action is to visit markets as a group and generically promote our cotton. We visit established markets to keep in close contact with our long-standing customers, and we make visits to markets that we have the potential to be important destinations. Australia has no local spinning industry, so we are 100% reliant on the export market. We need to ensure that we produce a product that is attractive to international spinners. There are many aspects to this, not least of which is quality, but also reliability and contract performance and delivery. Let us return to the subject at hand and the challenges and opportunities specifically confronting the Australian cotton industry. I have titled my presentation, Australia, a Land of Drought and Flood, which sums up our country perfectly and certainly influences a number of things I'm going to talk about. Whenever we consider challenges and opportunities, it's always a good place to start with a SWOT analysis. So to help set the scene of my presentation, here's a quick look at what I see in our industry's SWOT analysis. Strengths. All the things that we pride ourselves on in the Australian cotton industry, and it's underpinned by our BMP program. Best management practices is our guarantee of environmental and ethical stewardship. This program has been running for nearly 30 years. The Australian cotton industry was a pioneer in this area of environmental awareness. Our cotton is produced with a reduced carbon footprint, less water and chemicals, healthy soils, ethical labor standards, audited, traceable, and authentic supply chains. Weaknesses. I believe our biggest weakness is production reliability, but the other 3 points mentioned are increasing in significance and relevance. Opportunities. There is no doubt plenty of scope in our industry, led by our research and development, that has assisted moving into new areas that is increasing our production. The threats, these are very much the topic of the day in Australia. So let's go into a little bit more detail. Our industry's strengths. No other cotton industry can compete with Australia in regards to logistics, and our shipment period is a distinct advantage. Our proximity to the main consuming markets of Asia and the subcontinent must also be mentioned, because after all, that represents close to 80% of the world's cotton consumption. Australia's cotton export advantage is significant, with average shipping times to the Asian region approximately 2 weeks, whereas it's 3 to 4 weeks to the subcontinent. No other producer can deliver this quickly. Australia prides itself on supplying contamination-free cotton. At every step in the process, from planting through to shipment, every possible precaution is taken to eliminate contamination. Mistakes, of course, can happen, but we are the leaders in contamination-free cotton. Zero contamination is a whole-of-industry goal, with every participant in the supply chain working to keep contamination at zero. The importance of quality cannot be stressed enough. Spinning mills have increasing requirements for length, strength, micronair, uniformity, and short fibers. The Australian crop is extremely consistent in its quality. Looking at our weaknesses, I would have to say that currently our biggest weakness is in our production reliability. And that comes back to our country being one of drought and flood. The weather and the conditions under which we grow cotton in Australia dictate that in most seasons, well in excess of 90% of our cotton will be grown under irrigation. We are recognized as the world's premium upland cotton. And while this definitely helps to separate our cotton from competitors, I cannot help but think of the growth our industry used to aspire to reach. That growth was California SJV, and we all know what happened to that growth. People like targets, and Australia is now a target. This point leads in nicely to my next point, competing crops. Again, we saw what happened in California, and the concern has to be that other, more profitable crops emerge in Australia, just like they did in the SJV, through permanent tree crops. Currently, our growers supplement cotton with other crops including wheat, chickpeas, sorghum, and also graze sheep and cattle. But the question remains, will that continue? Other growths, led by Brazil, are catching up. And while it may be a few seasons away, I have no doubt that our competitors will get closer to the Australian premium cotton in the future. We still have plenty of opportunity in the Australian cotton industry, thanks to our research and development efforts, helping us to expand yields in existing areas, but also allowing us to move into new areas. In just over a decade, we've made significant expansion into the most southern of growing areas, while today